Party people, what's going on? It's Samaj Marsh. I'm the founder of BlueDeathValley.com. I want to welcome you guys back to another special edition of Inside the Valley, the podcast that's devoted to relentless coverage of A&T football. And of course, I got my guys with me. First off, former A&T wide receiver and a Greensboro native, my main man, Dougie Fresh Brown. What's up, Doug?
What's up, guys? Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride. And of course, the president, longtime A&T insider and the beat writer on BlueDeathValley.com for over 2 decades. My right-hand man, the brains of the operation, Mr. Craig Turner. What's up, Craig?
CT. Hey, what's up, guys? Aggie Pride.
Yes. So have you guys, have you finalized your recovery? Is everything kind of back on the right path now after last week's fiasco?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't pull my hair out of losing ball games normally. It's just the way the way things shook out last Saturday is what bothered me. Not so much the losing, but how we lost. Yes. But I'm over it now. Let's go on.
You're not. Come on, Craig. Yeah, I know you too long. Those are kind of losing the Central. It lingers, man. I mean, we're gonna be thinking about that throughout the season. It's just one of those deals where you're gonna see somebody when your co-workers or distant cousin or somebody who went to Central, and they're gonna bring it up. We gotta deal with it for another year. How about you, Doug? How you holding up on your end?
Hey, man, I'm on to Fargo at this point.
Yeah.
We put the film to bed. Watched the film one last time, and just to check up on some of the things I thought I saw the first couple of times I watched it, and we've done that. And we put it in the vault, sealed it up, and it's on to the next game. It's Wednesday. It's time to roll.
You know what? You called me last night. We had a good little conversation. You kind of helped me out. You was my therapist for a moment. And you brought up a lot of the plays that were just hair off, and you brought up a lot of the coaching decisions that in retrospect were not as bad as how it initially appeared. And you kind of instilled some confidence in me in what Sam Washington and Barnett and those guys are doing on the sideline. So I feel a little bit better about things. We still got to execute better, and that discipline still got to kick in. But go ahead.
I mean, well, that's what I do. And I invite anybody that wants to watch film with me, and I can show it, break it down. We can talk about things so you can see it from my perspective sometimes. But no, just kidding. But no, just taking a second look at it, man. You do see things every time you watch the film. You should pick up something new, and there were some plays in there, and were some things that we did. And I hear the pundits out there. I hear what people say, and I'm sure the coaches do too. But to the team's credit, to the coaches' credit, a lot of the things that we complain about as fans, they are trying to do some of those things, and it's not always easy to see in real time. But we got some improvements to make. But all the areas we preach about are things we want to see attack. Those were areas that at some point early on in the game we reached the attack. But that's the hero there. That's last week. We're on to this week.
Yep.
And hopefully we can improve in some areas and play Aggie football when we head out to take on the Bison out there, right?
So as
football.
As you mentioned, we do have a big game this week, and a couple of years ago it was being billed as a dream matchup. The number one team in HBCU football versus the number one team in the FCS polls, right? And we're coming off the heels of, I guess, 3 straight Celebration Bowl titles, and everybody around here, we were feeling good about ourselves. We were calling our shot. We want the Bison, and I guess you gotta be happy. You gotta be careful what you wish for. We were supposed to play them in 2020. That game obviously got postponed because of the pandemic. And now we're coming off a loss to our arch rival last week, and the Bison are actually 1-0, and they're number one in the country. They beat the brakes off somebody named Drake. It's not the rapper. It's a school somewhere. And but we're gonna take a look. We're gonna take a look at this matchup we got this week. And we brought back in one of our most I guess he was the most popular guest that we had in recent memory because he came on here and talked about just FCS and the other teams out there in the country and gave a unique perspective on some of the budget things, and that he kind of put a lot of in-depth information on a lot of questions that we always had. So we're gonna bring back Mr. Sam Herder, and this time he's gonna talk about his alma mater. So Sam, what's going on, bro?
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me back on.
Man, it's a pleasure.
Sam?
It's a pleasure. I had to call the big guns for this one right here. So Sam, first of all, I know you do like a little pick 'em each week for your website, HERO Sports. And I think you didn't go what 9 to 5. I think did you go 9 to 5 last week?
I went 6-2 or 7-2 last.
Oh, 7.
weekend.
Okay. So
Nice.
you did pretty good. You did pretty good. Now, did you pick against A&T or for? Did we mess you up at all?
So that's one I did not select. As my game pick 'em. So I don't have it in front of me. I can't remember which ones I picked, but I did not have A&T or Central in my pick 'em article.
Okay, I got you. But you felt pretty good about some of your picks, and you feel like everything went pretty good for you as far as the betting aspect went last week, right?
Yeah, it was a good week, and for what it's worth, probably nothing now. Had I picked that game and made an official prediction last week at this time, I would have said A&T.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a good thing I didn't include that one because that one would have been a loss in a column for me.
So I was about to apologize on our behalf for that. But let's look at North Dakota State, and everybody knows it's not no secret that this is a juggernaut. And I forget how many championships in a row you guys won. I think about give me a number, Craig. That 8 out of the last how many? 8 out of 9.
Yeah, I think it's 8 out of the last 9. They got 16 total.
16 or 17.
Well, it'll probably be 17 after this year.
All right, so Sam, okay, so and like I said, I know you still probably have your green North Dakota State cap on somewhere. Tell us.
I don't own any NDSU gear.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, truthfully, yeah. Once I started covering the FCS,
I
either threw all my NDSU gear out or I gave it away. Because I may be kind of young, but I kind of have the old school journalism where
yes, sir.
If you're covering a subdivision, you're covering a league, you shouldn't be cheering for any teams. And so the only NDSU stuff I have, I think, is a mini helmet that I have of NDSU, but I also have about 12 other ones. I have an A&T mini helmet too, right to the left of me. So I think that's the only NDSU stuff I have in my house.
My God.
Well, let's jump into it. Okay, so we know first of all that offensive line is incredible, right? I guess you guys average about 6'6", 6'7" all across the board.
Yeah, and they're all 6'4", 6'5", 6'6",
okay.
all over 300 pounds, and that's where it all starts with NDSU is up front. And I think the main thing too is having 300 pounders or near 300 pounders across the starting offensive line. That's not necessarily unique to the FCS. I mean, there's a lot of offensive lines out there that all go 300 pounds across the starting five there. I think the difference with NDSU is just their 310 pounders look different than some other FCS 310 pounders. They almost look lean. They're athletic. They get out in space and move. And so I think that's a lot of people talk about the size of NDSU's offensive line, which is warranted, but I think more so than their size is just how they move and how they look.
And Coach Washington in his press conference this week, he said that same thing. He said, even though these guys are tall, he's never seen guys of that length usually have that much bend. They bend at the waist, bend at the ankles. I mean, these guys are just super athletic. And I guess that's just a tribute to your program. You guys, you find tall, lean guys and you put weight on them and make, good athletes out of them.
Yeah, the left tackle by the name of Cody Mauk, 6'6", 310, 315, somewhere around there. He came to NDSU playing 9-man football in North Dakota, came as a tight end, came in at 6'6", 230. Freshman year put on 50 pounds, and so, or not 50 pounds, put on maybe 25 pounds. They said, all right, he's just going to be a big tight end for us. He's going to be a blocking tight end for us. Well, his redshirt freshman year, he puts on another 30 pounds. And then a sophomore year, he puts on another 20 pounds. All of a sudden he's up to 310 pounds, still 6'6", still has the same, feat that he had when he was a tight end. And that's what NDSU excels at, is they find these guys that are 6'6", 6'5", maybe 220 pounds that play basketball. And they see these guys and they say, we can probably put 80 good pounds on them. And by the time they're in their third or fourth year with the program, with the great strength and conditioning department that NDSU has, by the time these guys are in their third or fourth year, they're ready to go. And Cody Mauch's a good example of that.
Well, Sam, at what point did the young man lose his front teeth?
Yeah, he's from Hankinson, which is a close. It's close to my hometown. My brother actually used to teach at Hankinson, but and he wears it with the badge of pride, but he kind of looks North Dakota, right? He looks like a farmer, blonde hair, missing his 2 front teeth.
I loved him the minute I saw him, man. He definitely got some charisma, and he got the long hair, missing no teeth. He was complaining about his jersey not fitting this year. So what you said about him putting on those pounds, man, must really hold true. So he's a unique kid. He is one of about 8 other guys, 4 or 5 on the offensive line and the whole linebacker unit that just still trying to figure out how to pronounce some of those names, man. Those are my kind of football players. So we'll see, right?
And the main thing that I took away from watching some of the film is, so you got this incredible offensive line, defensive line. I mean, it's just some serious players. But I guess my instinct was this is going to be product of a system. But you have, I guess, over the years, you've been recruiting some big time athletes, and you got a receiver. What's his name? Number 0. He's about 6'6", runs like a deer. And
Zach Mathis, I think.
Zach Mathis. He called a tunnel screen in the first half against Drake last week and took that to the house. He's going to be a problem. But it seems like you guys are. You find these, some diamonds in the roughs and develop them, but you also get some pretty nice athletes to begin with too.
Yeah, and I think that's what's crazy is NDSU they're so much more athletic now than they were in 2011, 2012, 2013. Their first 3 national titles. There's a former wide receiver that's on a kind of a Bison fan podcast. Now I've heard him, and he was a pretty good wide receiver too at NDSU. And he said, yeah, if I was getting recruited now out of high school, they wouldn't even look my way. He was a starter for NDSU back in 2012. Like, that's how much more athletic they've gotten. And yeah, they do a great job finding the guys in the trenches, maybe some linebackers, tight ends too. They kind of stick local there. They really recruit well out of Minneapolis, but they go to like Wisconsin and obviously North Dakota, dip into South Dakota too a little bit. But you mentioned Zach Mathis. I believe he's from Florida. Christian Watson, a 2nd-round draft pick this last year, another big receiver. He's also from Florida. And so they've gone down to Florida. They've gotten a nice pipeline there to get some more speed guys. I know they've gotten some guys from Georgia recently, which is new. I don't know what the connection is there, but
I'll tell
all of a sudden
I'll tell you one thing, Sam. I pay attention to recruiting around here, and I notice a lot of the kids that we offer, also have an offer from North Dakota State. And so when I started noticing that, I'm like, wait a minute, these guys are coming across the Missouri. They're reaching they're reaching across the Missouri River down in on this side and down in the south. And I think that's a testament to what you're talking about, that you guys' footprint is widening, and also with the games that you guys are scheduling, including this game and the interest in Jackson State and the game you have against Tennessee State. I'm like, is that a deliberate effort to to widen that footprint there and continue to kind of stockpile on talent?
Yeah, and I'm not sure again what the connection is there specifically on how, but they're getting a lot of guys from Florida, and NDSU is kind of a well-known brand name in Florida now. I heard one of their assistant coaches say, when he lands in Florida, whatever city it might be, and he's walking through the airport with his NDSU gear on, he'll get a couple of, hey, go Bison. And so they see a lot of NDSU logos down in Florida, just with the recruiting. And I also think, having those couple of college game day visits to Fargo, beating FBS teams on national television, and then obviously the national title too, that just allows you to extend your reach. Where if NDSU went down to Florida or Texas in 2012, people might be like, North Dakota State, like, who are you guys? Why would I go there? Now it's like, oh, yeah, I know who you guys are. You guys are North Dakota State. And so just that success kind of breeds more success, I guess.
And I got to tell you, I try to watch a couple of games just to do some research. But the one guy you guys that you guys have that scares me is, I guess, Cam Miller, your quarterback. And there's no secret, North Dakota State has had a recent track record of producing some phenomenal quarterbacks. I think got 2 or 3 in the NFL right now. Is Easton Stick in the NFL? Is he on the roster?
Yep.
So yes, you got 3 guys probably probably 16 former Bison in the league altogether. But this Cam Miller guy, he looks the part. But let me show you this real quick clip that I got.
They'll go to work from the 41-yard line.
This wasn't even the pass. Let's watch this.
Play action here as Miller rolls out. Wait, now in trouble. Will try to make some play with his legs. Cuts back across the field. Look at this. Now Miller's got a seam. And he's got some blockers. Cam Miller inside the 20. Finally brought down. There's a penalty flag go.
So that was actually, I think they brought it back a little bit because it was a block. But that just shows you that his composure and his playmaking ability. Our guy, Zach Yeager, had a play like that against Central last week for a big game. But this guy's just not a statue in the pocket. If you do great, cover everybody downfield, you get a good pass rush from your line, your front 7, he still can make something happen, beat you with your legs. And that gives me nightmares, man. Yeah,
he's kind of interesting on how the NDSU fan base views him, because which is crazy to say, but I mean, I think it probably stems back to the spring season when he stepped in, and he didn't play all that well, but he was a true freshman during the spring season. NDSU lost to Sam Houston. I think that raised a lot of doubts. Last year, he wasn't a starter last year at the start of the year. Quincy Patterson was, then Quincy struggled, and then Cam came back in, and Cam was okay for most of the year, but then in the playoffs, he really turned it on and played well. But even coming into this year, he's won a national title, and still there might be some NDSU fans saying, well, is he really that good enough, for us? Because he isn't Trey Lance, he isn't Carson Wentz. We'll see if he is Easton Stick. I actually think he's a more polished passer now than when Easton Stick was when he was a redshirt freshman and a sophomore. And then plus, there's the next quote unquote gem for NDSU at quarterback is supposedly Cole Payton, who's a true freshman right now, I believe.
He's a red shirt.
Okay.
Because this is the connection here. Zach Yeager, our guys from Minnesota, and I remember Zach was being recruited by North Dakota State at some point, and I think they kind of leaned toward what's the guy's name?
Cole Payton.
I think they kind of leaned toward Cole Payton, and then Zach came to A&T. I'm sure if you ask Zach, he'll say I just chose A&T no matter what. But it's so I think both of those guys have a connection because they were in the same class and they were both being recruited by North Dakota State at some point. Yeah,
and then Cole Payton reportedly got late offers from Nebraska and Iowa State, scholarship offers, and he turned them down and decided to come to North Dakota State. And so that was kind of getting to my point of like that's kind of the weird dynamic with Cam Miller is I think he's really good. I think in a couple of years, I don't know if he'll be a draft pick, but he might be an undrafted free agent, type level guy. But behind him is Cole Payton, who is, I think one of the highest rated recruits NDSU has had. And so that's kind of the weird dynamic with Cam Miller. He's won you a national title, but you have this guy behind him where a lot of NDSU fans are like, well, let this guy, let's see what this young guy can do. But I do agree with you. I do think Cam Miller is a fantastic quarterback and probably an underrated one just with the really high standards that have been set before him.
Okay, so we're going to do a quick look. We're going, I want to keep you busy because I know you got bylines and stuff to cover for the whole nation, and you're taking your time out to talk about A&T versus North Dakota State. But check this out. We want to do a little exercise here. So, Craig, I want you to jump in on this. I want Craig to tell me the thing that he's most worried about, and then you give him a potential solution on how we can overcome. So, Craig, what's one thing you're super concerned about going into this game as far as A&T goes?
The the biggest thing is North Dakota State's run game.
Okay.
They're so physical, and their bats are explosive. They can all run. They can all catch the ball out of the backfield. Just super athletes. That's the biggest thing that concerns me right now.
So Sam, how has anyone ever? I know you guys lost to South Dakota State last year, and you say you lost a couple games in that spring year, but so what's the perfect process game plan of slowing down the North Dakota running game?
Yeah, it sounds pretty simple, but you have to hold up physically for all 4 quarters. And I always say that for all 4 quarters, because there's been teams in the past that have held up well for 3 quarters against NDSU. Their defensive line, held up well. Maybe NDSU only has 120 rushing yards going into the 4th quarter. And it's all right, this team's going toe to toe. But all of a sudden NDSU goes on, 2 6-minute long drives where all of a sudden, that line just starts going back and back and back. And so I think that's, one solution, or, quote unquote solution, is you can sell out to absolutely stop the run and say, hey, NDSU doesn't necessarily have, a receiver, because last year Christian Watson was their go-to guy. This year they haven't established a go-to guy yet. So A&T can say, we're going to do everything we can to stop the run, load up the box, and we're going to see if their receivers can beat our cornerbacks, and we can see if Cam Miller can be, can be accurate. And so that is one solution, obviously, is to just load up the box, but that's what everyone does. And sometimes teams have success with it for 2.5 quarters, 3 quarters. And then the 4th quarter comes and NDSU, looks like they just started the game and are really, really fresh. And South Dakota State, what they do really well is they rotate on the defensive line. They have great depth. If you're playing the same 4 guys,
it's gonna be tough.
Or maybe you're rotating only 2 guys in, and it's the same 6 guys even. That's a tall order, to go toe to toe with guys like Cody Melk for 60 minutes.
Okay, so there you go. That's one way to skin a cat. Doug, what's your biggest fear going into this week?
My biggest fear heading out to Fargo would be playing in the Fargo Dome. Sam, tell me, what's one thing the Aggies can do to kind of negate the home field advantage? Because let's face it, you guys have a tremendous home field advantage. What's one thing we can do to negate the home field advantage and those fans that'll be right up on the necks of our guys? There's no track inside the dome, so it's not like Aggie Stadium. Those fans will be kind of like Louisiana State. Louisiana Lafayette, was a real hostile environment years back, I think in 2007. But I don't think we've played in a place that'll be quite as hostile since then. So what can we do, man?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. The Fargo Dome doesn't have the juice like it once did.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Is
the sellout streak intact?
Oh, they haven't. They didn't even sell out last weekend.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that fan base is bored, man. They're bored. This game, they'll be loud and they'll be yelling and all that, and it'll be pretty loud, but it's not going to be like, holy crap, we can't hear anything. The Fargo Dome's not like that anymore. The only time it's like that is when South Dakota State comes to town and when they play in the semifinals. They didn't even sell out the quarterfinal game last year because the fans are bored. They know they're gonna, beat up on everyone. They don't have that great home field advantage. When I was a student there and I was covering it for the student newspaper, I couldn't talk to the person next to me. I couldn't hear them at all. Now when I go cover games, we can have a typical conversation, again, unless it's the semifinals or unless it's South Dakota State. And so it is going to be a great environment. It will be loud, especially for that first drive. But, I mean, honestly, how NCA&T can counter that is just kind of make this game sloppy, make NDSU earn, everything, if there's some penalties, if there's some weird fumbles, there's like no rhythm for either offense. That's great for A&T because all of a sudden NDSU fans are just going to be like, all right, it's kind of a close game, but we'll probably win in the second half, whatever. And so I don't think it's going to be. It'll be loud. I don't know A&T's full schedule in front of me, but it might be the loudest place they play this year unless they have an FBS opponent. But it's not.
We played Duke the following week, but they're like a wine and cheese crowd, so they're not crazy.
Yeah, so it's a great environment, but it isn't. The peak Fargo Dome was probably in 2014, 2012, somewhere around there.
That is so crazy to hear you say that because A&T fans, we always feel like, we can't get the crowd involved and people take this for granted. I guess that's just human nature, if you get so used and accustomed to success, you take for granted. And I guess it's going to take, hopefully, for you guys, it won't take a dip in performance for the guys, for the fans to appreciate it again. But, I guess it's just one of those ebbs and flows of football.
Yeah, and that's a whole different discussion, but that's why more and more NDSU fans want to go FBS, and that's probably why internally NDSU within the athletic department is trying to situate themselves to make that jump. Because if you keep on winning and you can't even sell out quarterfinal games, all of a sudden you're and you can't even sell out your season opener, that ticket revenue, which is NDSU depends heavily on ticket revenue because there's no TV deal. Their student fees are very, very low. Like ticket revenue is a huge driver for their athletic department. If all of a sudden you're selling 3,000 less tickets, and then next year they sell 500 less tickets, your revenue is going down. And so again, that's a whole different discussion, but there's no doubt that the boredom and lack of interest in the NDSU fan base is a discussion not only that I'm talking about, but the local Fargo media. They've hammered that point last year. There's an article or some type of news story every week about the decline in attendance. So it's a problem for NDSU.
Gotcha.
Well, at least you don't have to worry about trying to pay for your facility. I mean, that was
yeah.
You said those funds were privately raised, so you don't have to cover that with the ticket sales. So good job on that.
Well, Sam, so this is I guess it's coming down to a couple of days. We're going to find out. Hopefully, the fans will have something to be excited about. A back and forth, action-packed game might get that crowd jumping again. And I think that A&T is playing with house money. And I'm just hoping that they can have a real good game plan and have some adjustments already built into the game plan. Because I do think that A&T, the team that's going to come to Fargo, is talented. And I think we got a lot of speed. Coach Washington in his press conferences, he said that he hoped that speed would negate some of the physical mismatches that you guys have in other areas. But like you say, it's football, and that's why they play the game. So any last thoughts on this matchup? Or, I'm pretty sure you're feeling like it's going to probably be lopsided. But are you expecting to see anything in particular just from this game?
I mean, it's going to be more competitive than the Drake game was. And I think NDSU fans know that. I think the NDSU team knows that as well, that this is, I mean, if A&T and Drake played, NC A&T would win by 24 points, probably, maybe even more. Drake's not all that good. And so NDSU might be a little bit more focused in this game. I think overall, it's a good game for NCA&T to just gauge, okay, this is what we need to do. I mean, especially playing in the Big South, moving to the CAA, the focus is now on the playoffs, playing for an FCS title, not the Celebration Bowl. So now this is a good gauge of, okay, this is what we need to do. This is how they operate. This is the type of guys they recruit. This is how they play. Maybe this is how they operate on a game day.
This is a learning experience.
Even stuff like that of, oh crap, they do this on third down for their fans. That's kind of cool. Maybe we should do stuff like that. I think is valuable. And so, I don't have a score in mind, but I do think NDSU will win decisively, maybe 5-4 touchdowns or something like that. But I think overall, this game will be valuable. And I think it's an intriguing from an FCS perspective. Like you mentioned at the top, FCS power versus HBCU power probably would have been more intriguing in 2020.
Yeah, two years ago.
Compared to now, I mean, that is fair. But I think overall, when you see North Dakota State versus North Carolina A&T, it's kind of like, oh, that's kind of exciting there. So more the storyline going into it than maybe the game itself, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sam, thank you so much on short notice for once again joining our program and sharing your insight. And I really I can't say enough. Everybody who's watching this, if you're a fan of BlueDeathValley.com, you must go to HERO Sports and check them out because they're the standard bearer for all things college football, FBS and FCS. And you guys do Division II stuff too, or?
We do not. We only focus on FCS and then FBS, mostly
FBS.
Group of 5. Yep.
Group of 5 stuff, right. Yep. But your FCS coverage is just bar none the top in the business. And always look out for us, Sam Hurd and his Twitter feed and also his bylines because always good information.
I appreciate those kind words. And I appreciate you guys once again for having me.
All right. Thanks a lot, Sam. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Sam.
Main man Sam Herder with the HERO Sports, and he's a graduate of North Dakota State University. He feels pretty confident, which he should. Anybody who's breaking down the metrics and the scores and the stats, they're going to say this is going to be a lopsided affair. But I was doing some research, Craig, and I was looking all over the internet. I was looking through YouTube, and I was just trying to find an answer. Like, what, I'm an Aggie. We believe, we dream the impossible. And I was just trying to say, how can we knock down Goliath, right? So I went in the Bible. I went on everywhere I could to find an answer, and I think I found one. Let me know if this makes sense to you guys.
Something else. When the big man was killed, you must have wanted it. Its blood was on the leaves.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
My man, Arnold Schwarzenegger. If it bleeds, we can kill it. All right. So this team, listen, this team is mortal. And I say that I want to show y'all real quick. I want to show y'all what I mean by that. So last week they played against Drake, like Sam was saying, and Drake actually,
the Bulldogs will go to work.
This is the first drive.
25-yard line on first down. First carry of the game. Not much there. Talbert in there. Tony Pierce. No gain on the play. It's second down and 10. Corwin will keep it here, and he'll run, diving forward.
And we got
as he gets out to the 35-yard line, and a gain of 10, and a Drake first down. Boyland is the back, as they'll go to work from the 35-yard line. Play fake here. Corwin rushed out of the pocket, wants to go, floats this one. That's caught. Hauled in downfield. That's Hartley, one of their top guys, returning as he gets out to the Bison 48-yard line. That's consecutive first downs for Drake as they go to the ground with Boylan here, who breaks a seam.
There you go.
Hauled down. Toten, that was on the tackle there by Benson as he gets out to the 39-yard line. And that's a gain of 9. A second down and 1 from the Bison 39-yard line. Corwin goes to the outside. That's Austin Flax, who gets pushed out of bounds by Courtney Eubank. The Bison 36-yard line. 3 first downs on this opening possession. Back to the ground here on first down.
That's a nice little gap.
Just over 4.5 minutes gone here, and the pitch to Boylan to the outside. Look at the speed there. As Works got over there from the linebacker spot. Here's a 3rd and 6. From the 32. Corwin wants it all. He's got a man open down there. It's caught and out of bounds at the 1-yard line. That's Colin Howard, who comes up with a reception. He got behind the Bison defense. It'll be 1st and goal for Drake. It is 1st and goal from the 1. The little play fake here into the flat. Boylan for a touchdown. And how about that opening drive for the Drake Bulldogs?
All right, guys. So
first off, we ran the ball more times. We ran the ball the same percentage amount that Drake ran the ball on their first drive. We ran the ball the same percentage amount. If you chart the same number of plays, you go back and look at our first plays of our last game, Mr. Tootin got the first 6 carries, first touches of the game. He got the first 3 on the first drive, and then he touched the ball the next 2 touches after that. We threw the ball twice, 1 on the RPO, 1 down the field for a touchdown. The drive looked very similar to what you just saw on TV. So
that's why I picked it.
Again,
it looked very familiar. Yeah.
We got balance. We just had a block kick that screwed that balance. But hey, I see some holes out there, and we can do some things, and we got some able bodies. We've got some D1 bodies out there, so I think folks will be pleasantly surprised at times at what we're able to do, and I think there'll be moments where we shock those guys and shock that dome and have them on the edge of their seat a little bit. I mean, we see it happen across the country, especially when a team comes in a game. I know Sam said that they'll be super focused, but you guys, we talked about it. It's kind of human nature to take an opponent for granted sometimes if you think he's not up to par. So we'll see, especially coming off last week. But I know we'll be prepared. We've got some film now to prepare with, and we know some of the things they like to do. So it'll be about executing and making those in-game adjustments.
So Craig, if it bleeds, you can kill it. You heard what Arnold said. If it bleeds, you can kill it.
You got to see it first. I suspect that we're going to probably approach them like we approached Duke a year ago. Short control passes, high percentage plays to keep the chains moving, something that we did not do last week. I suspect we will use a game plan very similar to that on offense. The thing that concerns me more so than the offense, though, is our defense. North Dakota State is a beast when it comes to running the football. They clear out people. I suspect that the thing I'm concerned about is what Sam was talking about, putting seven or eight guys in the box. You can slow them down. You can probably stop them for, a quarter, maybe even 2 or 3 quarters. But eventually they will do one or two things. They're either going to wear you down or they're going to catch you cheating up and then go over the top.
Yeah. And
we have got to be really disciplined and really smart on how we attack them. They're going the thing that I'm just concerned about is the physical difference between the two teams. There is a true physical mismatch when it comes to their offensive and defensive lines versus ours. We may have probably got a little bit more team speed than they do. I'm just going to be watching to see exactly how we're going to attack them defensively, because we can't stand pat, just stand there and go toe-to-toe with them. They're too big. They're too strong for us. We're going to have to do some things innovative on defense to disrupt what they like to do, and that is run the football. If we can get them to start throwing the ball, I think we have a better chance of staying in this game for the long haul. And if we get a break or two along the way and make a play here or there, we could have us a ball game going into the fourth quarter. If we don't, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a very short. This thing will get out of hand real quickly.
Well, guys, I think we're going to get penetration like we always do. I think we're going to slant, we're going to stunt, we're going to move up front. I don't think we're just going to let them line up and try to blow us off the football, right? I don't see us getting
we can't
block 10, 15 yards down the line. Like, they're not going to bulldozer us. That's not how – we don't stand there to let that happen. I think the biggest responsibility will be on our linebackers, right? Like, our D-line will eat up some blocks, and we may slant, and they may go down, and we might have a pile on the ground with the D-line and the offensive line. Like, they may settle for, a cut block or here or there, or just, like I said, creating a pile, and then that creates lanes for the running back, and then it's the running back and those tight ends that are pulling, and everybody else is trying to get up on the linebackers to cause them some issues. So I actually think the offensive and defensive lines will do what they do. I think, like I said, we'll create some havoc back there. If you go back and look at what Janoris Robertson was able to do, I mean, we get back there, and there were times when we were able to get back there and cause some pressure. It's just, are you creating a running lane, and where does that leave our linebackers? And I think they're capable enough to make those plays. But it'll be over the duration of the game, like kind of like what Sam said, and doing it consistently time after time.
Well, speaking of linebackers, our second guest tonight is a former A&T linebacker. He's actually a Hall of Fame linebacker, and he has some unique perspective because he was part of the only A&T team to win a playoff game, right? But also the only A&T team to beat the then number one team in the country. And he did that in 1999. Let me bring on our favorite son back to the program, Mr. BJ Little. What's going on, BJ?
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
Man,
BJ.
because I want to apologize for not getting you on sooner because everybody's been reaching out. Every time I go somewhere, they're like, hey, man, I love the interview you have with BJ.
Man.
So we got to make this more regular, man. But
all right, let's do it.
But listen, we brought you on this week for the main purpose because we got to find solutions. I'm not just throwing in the white flag, throwing in the towel, waving the white flag. I want to find some way to beat these boys. I'm going to talk to you because you had almost a similar, this impossible mission when you guys went to Nashville that year. Give me that perspective of a team that's a big underdog and what the mindset you got to have to shock the world.
Hey, that's just it. You got to have a mindset. I mean, the sky's falling, and they hear everybody talking about how bad they are. They're not undisciplined, this, that, and the other. Now it's time to have that mindset to go into that game and go in there. And it ain't nothing you got to do special. Just do the same stuff you do every day, all your fundamentals, everything you do. Just play football and don't think about losing. Never think about losing. No matter, don't get too high.
Right.
You go down the field. I just saw where Drake went down and scored, and they jumping up and down. That's fine to get excited, but that ain't the ball game. It's gonna be a 60-minute fight, and so what they gotta do is they gotta have that mindset. No matter if North Dakota go down and score first, it's still gonna be a fight. So that's it. It's just the mentality you have to have taken into that fight. I mean, yeah, they're beasts. Yeah, everybody know 8, 9, 8, national championships, this, that, and the other. But you know what I mean? But like
BJ said. Yeah. see, BJ, you like me. You get tired of hearing all that stuff, don't you? You get listen, like we Aggies, okay? And we respect all, but we fear nobody.
Right.
And that's the mindset you guys had in 1999. Y'all went down to Nashville. They was the bee's knees. Everybody was talking about this was one of the best. They were the number one team in the country. They had all these offensive weapons, this innovative offensive scheme. But that Blue Devil defense, and like Doug and like Craig says, the physicality, we lined up on them, and I think that's what really neutralized a lot of what they wanted to do.
Right, because we went in that game knowing we were going to win that football game. We knew what it was going to take. We knew, that it wasn't going to be just they were going to roll over. I mean, they were number one. They had no reason to fear us at all. But like we were together, and that team was a little bit different. Like we played for each other, and so I didn't want to let the man beside me down in the same way. And we didn't have to say anything. It was just a look you gave, and we banded together right there, just as brothers, and we wasn't gonna be beat that day.
So, man, that's awesome. So, tell me, did you get a chance to watch the game last week?
I did.
What you did? All right, and well, I know you probably kind of, it was kind of bittersweet, right? You were torn. You hated to see your Aggies lose, but them boys playing inside linebacker were flying around, weren't they?
They were flying around. That was Blue Death right there, the inside linebackers.
Jacob Roberts and Taquan King, they lived up to your level of football, right?
And that's why I say, like, I know the sky's falling, but if they come to play like that every week, and the rest of the team come to play like that every week, who knows? The sky's the limit. And also, this game also still is it's a non-conference game. I mean, it really has no bearing on the season. You know, so that's why we can't be too high or too low. Because I know that Central game, I mean, we lost to Elon like that. Now it wasn't losing to Central, but maybe the next best thing, thing to it. But we lost to Elon, and they ran us out of the stadium. Yeah. But again, we came into that next week with the mentality, and our quarterback got knocked out, and still we decided that, hey, we ain't gonna let it end like that. Let's just play for each other, let the chips fall where they lay, and we end up winning our share games.
And see, Craig, this is what I was thinking too. I was like, if you have any aspirations of playing at the next level, right?
Right.
If you telling everybody, I'm gonna put my mom in, I'm gonna take out the projects, put it on a lake. If you one of those guys who always talking about, I'm about to be the next NFL draft pick. This is your time. Don't work. Don't tell me what you're gonna do. I don't care about pro days no more. I don't care about how much you can bench press, how big your vertical jump. I want to see the game film right now. And this is going to be the litmus test. If you are a player, put it out there on Saturday against what's considered the best of the best.
Yeah, it's the biggest audition that you can have is what you do against those power teams,
Yeah.
like a North Dakota State or a Duke. Those are the games that the scouts are going to be looking at, and if you can excel against that level of competition, you can play in the NFL, and that's so. Yeah, it's a big game for a lot of guys who are seniors this year, or guys who have aspirations who are underclassmen. The juniors and the seniors, this is your time to show out. You're not gonna get a better opportunity.
And Doug, I don't think there's a fear factor, because I know for sure Jacob Roberts ain't scared of nothing, and he feels like he's gonna be the best football player on that field, right? I'm pretty sure after the week that Taekwon King just had, he feels like he's going to be the best football player on that field. Sterling Burkhalter, he don't think anybody on North Dakota side can cover him. He didn't have any catches. He had 4 targets, no catches. He is mad. He ain't got a chance to be afraid. He's mad. He wants to go on getting that stat sheet. And we got other guys like that who feel like I'm not chopped liver, and they're not going to take a back seat. That's what kind of gives me a little bit of encouragement.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, it's one of those things, it's kind of like BJ said, you got to believe. And that's one of the things when my coaches used to preach, you got to believe. Like you never have that seed of doubt in your mind. You always believe you're going to win the game, and you don't go out there expecting anything different. And you want to go out there and perform. And like you said, this is an audition, but it's also important to remember, man, this is about the team, right? We don't want anybody going out there saying this is my one shining moment, or this is my chance to make a play, because oftentimes that's how you end up making a bad play, like trying to make the play. Like stay within yourself, know what the team's goals are, right? Do your part. Your 1/11th is what a lot of coaches preach, man. So I think if guys go out, do their part, give great effort, right? Give great effort. Fly around to the football. I know BJ and those guys, that 99 team, if you'd have told them they were going to play a game like this and get the line down against a team that's planning on running the ball, okay, yeah. You know how the type of week and type of preparation and practice and how that week would have went. So I just think it's important to stay in the moment. This is one of those games they had marked on the calendar, and you don't want to miss it. Definitely, if you're on the team, you're happy to get to this point. But now it's time to go perform, man. And you want to go out there and just give it your all, man, and make plays. It's going to be a different environment. I joked around with some friends and told them, our guys probably going to hear and see some things they never saw before out on the football field. It's kind of like those early 90 games against Appalachian State when we used to have to go up on the mountain, and I think they made the trip down here. But those games help mold those teams and get us ready to play some games down the line. But they gonna hear some stuff and see some stuff they ain't heard before too when the Aggies show up, because we got a little bit different walk and a little swag to us too. So look for us to make some plays, man, and be involved in a football game. But you never know how things can go.
BJ, let me ask you this: being a linebacker, well, how do you guys prepare when you're going against an offense that's just stacked on the offensive line with some big nasty dudes and some pulling guards and some 6'7" tight ends? What is your mental approach when you're going to that type of battle?
Honestly, I see that stuff on Monday when I'm watching film. You see that stuff. You see the big guys and all that. Yeah. But as the game go on, I'm prepared. Like I'm reading my keys. Even though he's 6'4", 300 pounds pulling, if he pull, I got to get in his hip pocket. Yeah. If he's zone block, I got to get over the top. I mean, once you get out there, you out there. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter about the size. And so that's the mentality they got to have going into the game. Yeah, I heard they're big, they're athletic, this, that, and the other. But read your keys. And if you like y'all were talking, if you that player that wants to, this is your opportunity. It's your opportunity to read your keys and make the play. Believe in your coaching. I mean, make a play. Sometimes you might be put in a bad situation, but make a play.
Make a play.
My man. All right, so I'm feeling good, man. Like I don't know if I can bet the mortgage just right now. Give me a couple of days, man. I might, but I'm feeling like we got at least a path to victory, And after coming out of Central, it was just doom and gloom. We was gonna get boat raced, and it didn't matter what we do. But now I think we kind of step aside, and you kind of get away from that moment, and you look at this is just football. And one thing Coach Washington has done, he's assembled a talented football team. He has assembled guys at every level who can play. You know, we might not have as much quality depth right now, especially with some of the guys who are missing, but I still think, you know, our top two, you know, two deep chart can stand toe to toe with North Dakota State if we eliminate the turnovers. But tell me this, BJ, how important is it in your opinion to start fast? Because we on the road, that's got to be paramount, huh?
Well, you have to start fast. I mean, like I say, and they may get you early, but like you got to have that mindset to where you know at the end of the day that if you do what you're supposed to do, you're going to win. And you know what's crazy is Central beat us. The same reason that Central beat us, we go out there with NC-A&T across our chest, the lock A&T on our helmet, and we think we're just supposed to roll over Central. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I mean, last year, I mean, they played us tough last year, even though it got away from them at the end. But you know, they went in that game knowing that they can play with us, and then we messed around and gave them that opportunity, and then at the end they beat us. But that same thing that we took in the Central, wearing that A&T, now we got to bring that A&T and band together and go to North Dakota State with that same A&T across our chest, with that belief. Now we got to go into that game with that mindset, like we are A&T. I mean, you're playing for something. You're playing for something bigger than yourself.
The pride. I mean, that's the word. The pride. We got to get back to the pride. And you know, it's been a lot of naysayers. You know, honestly, you can understand why. You're coming off a bad loss in a big profile game like the what was it, Duke's Mayo Classic. Everybody's kind of licking their wounds, but we can't lose track of the fact that we still Aggies. And I mean, I don't care where we playing. We can play on the moon. We still got to have our chest out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We still got to have that swag. And I mean, I'm glad. That's why I want to bring you on because you kind of like, you know, you bring us back to reality, BJ. You know, you and everybody in your group, man. Because and I'm pretty sure you and your former teammates had a lot to say behind the scenes. Because I saw Chris McNeil on Facebook. He wasn't too happy.
Not at all.
Hey, Chris McNeil say we want to run the blank ball. He want to run that ball a little bit more. Did you have any critiques of the game plan? You know,
well, not really the game plan. It's just the untimely discipline penalties. I mean, like just the shooting ourselves in the foot every time. I mean, like if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, we have a pretty good football team. But every time we, roughing the passer. I mean,
third long,
rushing three. You're playing 8. You're back, 10 yards. You're trying to let them complete it in front of you, so you come up and make the tackle, and then we go in and we rough the quarterback. I mean, just stuff like that, stuff that we can control. The effort stuff. A pass interference every now and then if you're fighting for a football. The effort stuff, but just the bonehead stuff, we gotta eliminate.
Gotcha. So you still coach high school football, right?
Yes, I coach at Spartanburg High School down here.
How'd y'all been doing the last couple weeks, man?
talking about that. Our record is 1-2 right now. So we're
1-2.
1-2. And I'm gonna make an excuse for us. Not really an excuse.
Okay.
But we played one of the toughest schedules in the country. I mean, we started out, our first game was in Atlanta against Langston Hughes, who has 11 prospects. I mean, Ohio State, Georgia, that kind of team. And so we go down there and we play with them, we hang in it, and then we thought about losing. Like third quarter, right there, we in the game. We leading. 30 seconds before the half, we kick off, and they run the kickoff back to the 50, throw a touchdown pass, and right then we cracked. We were in the ball game, and then the very next week we played Dutch Fork. If y'all know anything about Dutch Fork, they've won 5 of the last 6 state championships, and this is our second year, going into our third year being at Spartanburg, and so we playing Dutch Fork, and they beat us. They kicked a field goal with 3 seconds left to beat us 27-25. So, and that's 2 nationally ranked teams we played. Played last week against a team that we just kind of, we were better than, and so we beat that team. But this week we go back to Atlanta and play against Grayson, another top 20 national ranked team, and same thing. We're going to, hey, you know what? We got a game on the schedule. We're going down to play, and we got to take the fight to them. I mean,
Man.
they just like us, and the same thing like North Dakota State. They just like us. It just depends on which Spartanburg show up because they're really not important. It just depends on how we play.
And see, I hope that we take the same approach y'all had, where y'all took those first couple games and use them as learning lessons. So even if we don't get the W in North Dakota State, if we are smart, we can use that experience to springboard to the rest of the season.
Right.
And like Sam was saying, just seeing how the top dog does things. I mean, you like they say, you learn a lot about a man when you fight him, right? And we can learn about the number one program in the nation when we line up and go toe to toe, don't back down, and counter punch and give as much as we get. I can't wait to see it, man. So,
and like they say, the biggest improvement in the football. I know it's cliche. Everybody said the biggest improvement in football, especially college ball, is between week 1 and week 2 because you don't have a preseason. So, we. So now it's time to show the world just where we are, how much we've improved.
My man. So, BJ, we're going to have to figure out a way. I know you're busy with high school football, but, I mean, you got this infectious smile, and you always just got the right word at the right time. So we're going to have to bring you back, man, because definitely throughout the season, especially when we start winning, because I don't want to be always talking about losses and motivation. I want you just to be able to – because, BJ, you got a little bit of cockiness to you, man. Like, when you hit the boys, you stand over top of them, look down on them,
A little bit.
So we're going to have something to kind of look over our opponents on. But until next time, man, thank you so much for coming out on short notice, man.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
And the social media too, so we want to follow you on Instagram and or you on Facebook?
Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I don't post as much as I used to. When I was training, I post every day.
I know because no. I'm glad you I got a bone to pick with you. You left me high and dry. I was trying to get tight for homecoming. You was supposed to give me a detailed workout plan. I was supposed to have abs of steel. And then
we had about a week to get it done. Oh yeah.
I done promised my wife this is about to be a new improved me, and then she said, I thought you was gonna be Stephon Urkel. You went back to Steve Urkel.
We'll see if we can get you right before this homecoming. We got a little bit more time.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time, so we gonna work it out, man. We gonna work it out. All right. But until next time, BJ, you take care, man. We really appreciate it.
Y'all do the same. I appreciate what y'all do, man. Y'all are, like y'all said, the true word on A&T football, and I love it, man.
My man, thank you so much, bro. Take care. All right, I'm feeling good now, Craig. I'm feeling good. Hey, BJ told us what we need, man. He done painted out the picture. He gave us the keys, like DJ Khaled. We say, I got the keys. These are the keys, man. We got to follow them. Got to stay disciplined. And can't have no fear. You play some big games, Doug. You play some big games. There was times when we were underdogs, high school and college, right? You play some games where.
Well, I mean, we
that was rolling.
High school,
So give me that mindset as a player, man. For real, as a player, how do you kind of just put your nerves to the side and look Goliath in the eye and still bring that slingshot? How you make that happen?
Well, honestly, I'm not the best guy in terms of setting the example. Most of my wisdom comes from hindsight, right? Yep. But what I would encourage guys to do is just stay in the moment. I think we played in the game against Wake Forest, which was our first game against a D1 opponent, and the lights were not too bright, but our energy level was so high. We wanted to succeed and win and prove people wrong so bad that we weren't focused. All of our energy wasn't just on the game, right? Like we wanted to show that we were just as strong, just as big, just as bad. And we had the right mentality, but that can drain you. It can drain your energy, right? Mm-hmm. And so I watched some of our guys celebrating last week, and I'm just save your energy, right? The football game is long, and we're talking about what you need to have in the tank in the fourth quarter. So it's about managing your emotions, playing right on that edge, playing to and through the whistle, because that's one thing they're going to do. They're going to play through the whistle. And so we generally do a good job of playing through the whistle too, but we can't be that last guy to hit or punch back. Because one thing's for sure, we're not going to get any calls out there, and we can't go out there expecting any. it's going to be us and the parents in the stands, right? That's it. That's it. You know, Sam Herder's going to keep that little mini helmet back at home. So, you know, we might have a few folks rooting for us out in North Dakota, but it's going to be
South
about
Dakota
the team.
State fans.
Yes, that's
South
it.
Dakota fans might show up. But one thing I love about a trip like this and an experience like this for these kids is it one way or another is going to be a great team building and team bonding experience. When those guys go out there, some guys are going to have a chance to travel to a region of the country that they've never been to, see some things they've never seen. And that's just a bonding experience. You go through camp, you go through practice, but there's nothing like traveling with your band of brothers and being on the road and being against, you know, pretty much the entire stadium. I can equate it to my freshman year. We traveled and played against Portland State, and they were nationally ranked top 25 FCS team. And
Lost in overtime.
Lost in overtime.
Yeah,
that was a game nobody gave us a chance, and we really went out there and outplayed those guys, man. We really outplayed them. And I mean, that was one of those times where you could feel the air in the stadium, go out the stadium when we went out there. And the funny thing about that trip, and I can't wait to have Trina on so I can joke with her about it. But that trip, we were going out there to play in a baseball stadium, you know, and no one had been out there. Nobody, you know, it wasn't like YouTube now where you could get a good view of someone's stadium. But, you know, the whole time we were planning to go out there, everybody's excited to play on turf. And we're like, man, T-Bone, we got to bust out the turf shoes, right? We go in the trailer. It's time to bust out the turf shoes because you only played on turf against Howard, right? And we played on turf if we played in the Georgia Dome. So T-Bone comes out to practice, and you know he's getting all the guys off his back. He's like, "Guys, I ain't gonna do my T-Bone voice because I can't do a good T-Bone." But he's like, "Guys, you don't need the turf shoes. All right, we're not gonna bring out the turf shoes." Well, anyway, we go out there to Portland State without our turf shoes, and we get out there on the baseball field, and it is like the thinnest. It was supposed to be the field grassy turf, like the new turf. It is regular old Astro turf, thin,
hard
like
stuff.
the Astro Dome. We're out there in metal cleats, and we tried to have a walk through, practice, jog through, we're sliding around, falling. Man, Coach Hayes got on that phone, athletic department. We had to move all of earth to get the turf shoes on the plane with the band who hadn't left yet, right? Got all these turf shoes on the band with the plane. The shoes arrived right before the game. We're digging through a tub of shoes trying to find matching.
A size 12.
And we strap it on and we go out there and we tape it up. And we had these old raggedy turf shoes on, except the guys like me who were smart enough to come with a fresh turf shoe. But we're taping up the turf shoe. But I mean, that's something that guys didn't have. Guys didn't have a pair of turf shoes or tennis shoes to go play in the college football game in. So it was important that we had them. But it was just such a cool story and such a trip. We came up short, but we earned a lot of respect. And we definitely had a great bonding experience as a team. And I can remember the game and the plays like it was yesterday, that traveling experience. And we even kind of had a little bickering session. We got into it with the Portland State guys out at like a community service event. And I just remember that sense of pride, like, you know, it's us against the world. And those bonds are formed and they're never broken. So win or lose, those are things that'll build the team up. But you want to come home with the win too. On top of all that, you can come home with a win, man, you're looking at a real special time. And think back to East Carolina, think back to Charlotte. Those teams, it was never a doubt in their mind if we were going to win the game. As a fan, we didn't go in there expecting to lose. We went in East Carolina like, we're going to win this game. We're better than they are. And in certain spots, we were just flat out better than they were. And so I'm looking at this game and then finding some bright spots to see where we're better than they are. Hell, we're better than they are at kicker. I'm going to tell you right now. Andrew Brown, give me my cousin, Money Brown, right now at kicker. I'll take Mr. Brown there. I think our wide receiver core is better than their entire wide receiver core. Man for man, I'll take my Virginia Tech transfer, Elijah. I'll take Sterling Burkhalter. Those are guys that they would love to have on their roster, right? Then I look down. You got some other areas we can take a peek at. Mr. Roberts is all FCS guy. You know, Mr. Tyreek Stewart, he's a West Virginia transfer, but right tackle. I might line him up and say he's just as good as the guy they have at right tackle. But it'll come down to discipline and execution. And of course, we got the card stacked against us being on the road. But man for man, football is about one-on-one matchups at times. And if you can utilize some of those, I want to know if their corner can go up and catch and defend a jump ball against Shaq Leslie.
That's what I'm saying. I want to answer some of those questions. Like, you see those that Marvel show What If. This is our Marvel What If, right? I want to see how we can go against Superman and what that fight would look like, But guys, listen, we're not gonna be here too long tonight because we was on here for like 8 hours on Sunday. But we're gonna open up a few guests here real quick. 84. My man, what's up? I mean 94, excuse me.
94.
What's going on this evening?
Man, we feeling better than we did at the beginning of the show. So, we have some good guests here to kind of give us a little bit of more optimism. But real quick, man, you came, you were in Charlotte this past weekend, correct?
I was.
And I'm pretty sure you were disappointed leaving that stadium. What's your feelings right now?
Well, listen to you guys, and particularly Sonny Brown over there.
Sunshine.
Let me brighten it up in here a little bit. Let me brighten it up.
But in all seriousness, I mean, and I've done a lot of, thinking about it, myself. We've got some dogs. I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, I honestly think we can match up with anybody. I mean, my question though is, will our coaching staff put our athletes in a position to win?
Okay, so let me interject on that. So basically, if I got the sense, I think his press conference is still on the Facebook page, the school Facebook page, but Coach Washington, he seemed to have a little bit of kind of buyer's remorse with his game plan. And he said a couple of times, if I had to do all over again, he said if he had to do all over again, he'd run the ball more. He would stay with the run. If he had to do all over again, he would have probably been more aggressive from the start. He wouldn't have dropped back 8, in the first half. And basically, Thomas Howard was calling the game plan, was calling defensive plays to open up the game. And at some point, Coach Washington said, "Nah, give me the thing back." And he took over in the second half. We only allowed 1 touchdown in the second half, and it was evident we're a lot more aggressive. So I'm thinking that Coach Washington, if they were trying to be cute before, because he kind of want to keep everybody in dark about, we playing 2 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks. I think right now he's going to put his best game plan, bar none, no questions asked, and throw that out there against North Dakota State. I feel confident in that.
I think we're playing with house money at this point, and I hope we take that attitude throughout the season. I mean, gentlemen, let's face it. I mean, we have stepped up to a different level, and in so doing, we're going to have to approach things differently. I would have loved to have seen us. To your point, Samaj, I would have loved to have seen us on Saturday do some different things. I mean, we mentioned, our wide receiver core. Why not come out with 5 wide? Or, if we're going to out-athlete, a team like Central.
Go ahead and do it.
Go ahead and do it. I mean, line up in our formation. I would love to have seen, Dixon out there. But with what we've got, I mean, we've got, some decent fullbacks. I mean, let's look at what we're going to do. I mean, if establish an identity, I guess is what I'm saying. And let's get to something and let's go with it. But let's look at the situation. What Central did to us the other night was they came in with a game plan. And I was telling someone on the way back home that we just came to play a game. If that makes sense.
Oh. And Craig, that's what you told me. You
that's exactly what I said. That's exactly. We're in concert there. We went in with the attitude that, well, we'll just see how it develops, and we'll just go with the flow, whichever way the flow goes. Yeah. You can't do that. You can't do that. You cannot do that. I mean, this is not the NEAC. It's just not. You cannot out-athlete when you're on this level. When you start talking about playing FBS, CAA, Missouri Valley, even Big South, you cannot go out there with the expectations that my athletes are better than their athletes, and we're just going to line it up and go. It doesn't work that way.
For sure. But that being said, to Doug's point though, we got to have the chip on our shoulder. I mean, we've got to have that attitude that wherever we go, and I like the fact that you reference the Charlotte game a couple of years ago and ECU really sticks in my mind because we all remember what we had to deal with. I mean, we actually could have played that game that Saturday night. I think ECU knew what they was about to step into, and all the other things that go along with that. But we've got to have that attitude, and I say again, we've got to have that attitude for every game moving forward. Now, is it going to be a arduous task on Saturday? You bet it is, but they got to put their pads on just like we do.
In 94, this is the main thing. I don't want, no matter win, lose, or draw, I don't want to leave this experience without gaining some important data. I just don't want it to be like business as usual after this game. I want if we lose by 80 points, I want us to be able to take that experience and apply it to Duke the following week. And
Absolutely.
then when we go to Bryant and we start that Big South conference, I want to be that much more wiser about this. Like you say, how does this look against somebody at that level? If we go 3 wide, 4 wide against a top ranked defense, what do we expect to happen? And we're gonna get that information on Saturday. We need to suck it up. We need to jot it down, and we need to be able to apply it later on. That's my hope.
And one other thing I want to say, I don't know how much time I have left, but one thing I want to say, I know a lot of us on the forum have been critical of our quarterback. You can call me an apologist, but Zach Yeager's a real deal.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
We need to give that kid an opportunity, and I think we need to ride him out. I mean, if you really watch the game and everybody looked at the stats, he was 23 for 48. Well, a lot of those incompletions came in the last 2 drives of the game when he's trying to make a play.
Right.
But if you looked at what he was doing during the course of the game, he played well. Now the interception, that was on him, but he gives us the best chance of winning in my estimation. And
so how do you feel about what Coach Washington said about we're definitely going to see Fowler this week? Are you worried about if that's going to mess it up the continuity?
I think he had to say that.
Okay.
I think that Coach Washington is loyal to the core, and he wants to. He wants to stand by his guys, and I get that, and Jalen's a good kid from everything that I can see.
Great kid.
In my estimation, Zach gives us the best opportunity of winning game in and game out because he can change the game with his feet. And I think what I was telling people, from what I've seen in the spring game and just looking at film with him, he's an excellent game manager. And what you want for a quarterback, he doesn't so much have to win the game for you, but you don't want him to lose the game for you.
Yeah.
And I don't see anything that he has done in his body of work on this Saturday night that gives indication that he's going to put us in a bad situation.
Yeah, right. And he's going to grow. Like he's going to get better.
You can't name any bad decisions that he made, right? I can't think of any bad decisions. There was a play before the punt got blocked where we tried to throw it out to I think Leslie, out on the flats, and I think the inside guy came open. But he saw the defender late, and he sailed it over both guys' head out of bounds. He threw the ball away. And to the naked, everybody's like, man, that was a bad throw.
I don't know about that.
Man, he threw that ball away. He threw the ball away.
That was a daffy duck.
Linebacker, linebacker slid outside at the last minute and slid underneath Leslie. That's who they really targeted to take away. Number 2 shadowed Leslie all night, and the linebacker slid right underneath, and Zach threw the ball over both the guys' head out of bounds, like it was a throwaway. You go back and look at it. Now, fortunately, the next play, the punt got blocked and it cost us. But in the moment, it was a good play. The play on 3rd down when he took off running and was well short of the of the first down inside of Eagle territory, he slid, came off the field on 3rd down. We kicked 3 and got the field goal, right? He didn't force the ball down the field. He knew he wasn't probably going to get the first down running, but he gained a couple yards and got us in field goal range, and we made 3. Those are winning plays, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are winning plays.
Absolutely, Doug. And that's important. I don't think people understand and realize those nuances of the game when you're playing, and you got to have someone who's thinking in the moment, and that's what I like about the young kid. And I think he's going, as he progresses, we're going to be fine. We just have to put him in the best. Again, are we going to put our athletes in a position to win ball games? And that's where scheming comes into play.
Find out. All right, 94. Thank you so much for joining us again, man. And
always a pleasure, guys. I mean, y'all do it right,
Yes,
and you do it up, and I look forward to seeing y'all. I think on the 24th, if I'm not mistaken. That's South Carolina State, right?
Yes, sir. That's gonna be the first home game.
Wait. Are y'all going to Durham? Are y'all coming to Duke?
I'll be in Durham. I'll be
Okay. I'll be there.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see you guys then.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, my man. 94. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
He's right. I'll take back. Man, Zach had another couple plays where he stood in there and delivered the ball. We ran a little crossing route across the middle with Taymon.
Yeah.
They picked up some yards and helped get us in the field goal range on that drive as well. And he stood down the barrel in that, or stared down the barrel on that play, and saw the blitz coming and delivered the ball. And so, I criticized. What did I criticize him? I brought up late in the game that on the interception, I need the guy that can stand in there and take it. And I had to go back and look, and he stood in there and took it before, so it just is one of those things. I'm sure if he could have that back, he'd probably set his feet a little bit more and try to make a better throw. But a lot of times, Zach is making throws based off the ability that he knows he has, right? And if you go back and look at some of those plays where he threw across his body, the kid does have some arm talent, right?
Oh yeah,
and so I think that'll become more and more evident with some of the little throws that he makes, and he can always. He'll have time to improve. Again, this is his first college start, so I look forward to continue to improve.
And we had a couple of near misses, man. You got to think down the end of that game, we had a chance to get in the box, and we just didn't connect. Let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. Here's that last.
They're working against the inspired defense and the clock at this point on second down. He's got his man, and he overthrows the intended receiver, Burkhalter.
I thought Yeager was really terrific in the first half, but he's had some chances here. And this is just a post route, skinny post. And that ball's got to be leading him inside.
And look at this.
Third down and 2. Yeager gives it to Tootin, has the first down, flag thrown, Tootin on his way, touchdown, but there's a flag back on the 33.
My goodness.
So it shows you, man. It shows you we were just a hair off, man, both times. And you connect on either one of those plays. It's a different ball game. You still got 4 minutes left. You get a stop. You're going in to tie the game or win. It's just it's crazy how it's a game of inches, like they say. But we got one more guest. Hey, old school, you here? I'm just give you a shot at the title, man. I don't see your camera, but we're gonna bring you in real quick and see if we can get you in there. Old school.
What's up, fellas?
Oh, my man. So you got the mic working.
There he is.
Yeah. Hey guys, how you doing?
You built a time machine. You went back to the 80s and went to Radio Shack and got you a mic, and you hanging out with us now. What's going on, man?
Yes, sir. I'm just peeping in. Don't have a whole lot to say. You guys already said it.
Yeah.
I think the keys to that game last week was execution and discipline.
That D word.
Like Doug was saying, okay, a lot of people want to blame the coaches, but if we had executed just like that last 2 plays you showed, first one was execution, second one was discipline.
Yep. That's it. Perfect way to sum it up. Perfect way to sum it up. And you know what? Here's a number. And this is coming off the heels. Our last game before this was Gardner-Webb. We just had an emotional breakdown and just penalties all galore. Coach Washington in that post-game press conference, he said, we got to clean up the penalties, right? So the next game we play, we go 9 for 95.
Oh boy. 9
for 95. And so, at this point, it's almost more than a trend. It's systemic. We got a culture of this undisciplined football that we got to correct.
Let's dive deeper.
Okay.
Did we have any illegal procedure penalties by the offensive line?
I
don't know about that, but I know the first play of the game we jumped
one.
offside.
I'm starting with each unit. I'm starting with each unit. Because to me, when you think about discipline, again, you've got to look at I start with the individual, then I start with the unit, then I go to the unit. So we know we had
Are you about to take us on a trip where you can try to explain that we're not disciplined?
No, listen.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm thinking about the penalties that bother us, right? If we had a guy throw a punch, that is like the most extreme undisciplined penalty. A dead ball, personal foul, late hit penalty, or throwing a punch, right?
Right.
That's kind of the extreme
versus
a guy who again does not have a lot of experience. But if you go back and look at the game that Janoris Robinson played last weekend and the amount of havoc he caused, I want you to go back and just watch him every play. I'll give him an offside penalty a game if he gives me that every game. I'm telling you.
I'll take that.
Okay, now we didn't have any late hits. We didn't have any we didn't have any true out of bounds, like striking a guy, one of those boneheads. We didn't have anybody cussing at the ref. Like, those things I got personal fouls for, arguing and fussing with the referee for not throwing a flag or not calling something.
Right.
Like, those are the things that are lack of discipline that shows what I call lack of institutional control, right? Lack of player control. If you can't pull the guy, if you're trying to get a guy back and he's fussing with the coach, those things we saw on the sideline and they're fussing with each other, like, those things are the discipline things that drive me crazy, right? A kid giving great effort. Henry Daniel is a kid, I know he's going to beat himself up that he jumped offside. He might not jump offside the rest of the season. Henry Daniel, the backup, he ain't a backup. Or one of the guys in our rotation.
Yeah.
He's a kid that harps on discipline. Like, we've got kids in the program who are from military academies and military schools who understand discipline. And so I understand the culture of a team and what our lack of discipline has looked like at times.
Yeah.
And what the expectation was, maybe under different coaches, from Broadway to Hayes to anybody, to whoever else, and like where we're trying to go discipline wise, right? And it is a process. It does not happen overnight. It would be nice if it happened overnight, but generally with the same staff or most of the same staff, it's tough to flip that switch. So it starts with some of the small things, right? And penalties, the penalty yardage is bad, but again, I look at, is it a guy ripping a guy's face mask off, his helmet off, get into a fight? Did we get into a fight before the game and get a personal foul penalty at the 50-yard line like the Central game a few years ago when they had a guy ejected and it cost their team? We're not, if I'm not seeing those things, I can work with a football team because the penalties we had, although a little on the higher end, are still some of the same penalties that teams have all across America. So we can stir those up.
Yeah.
Now, if we go out the next game and we in the same boat, and like that's when we're like, okay, what's up with the penalties? But generally, we said the penalty on Dak was a terrible call, the holding call on Dak. So if you take away that holding call, that takes it down to 8 penalties, which I'm sure there's another one in there that's suspect, but we can call holding on every play. Everybody knows that. But there's some things, guys, we're gonna continue to work on that. That's something that's gonna that ain't just a team effort. That might even be a fan effort too, because they hear us when we boo and when we get upset about the penalties too. So hopefully the players will. That's something that within the team they got to hold each other accountable.
So old school, tell me, what's something that you like? What was a takeaway from Charlotte that you said, this is pretty good. This is something we can build on. Anything?
I saw a few things. The punter.
Okay.
If you give him proper protection, that boy can kick it to the moon.
Yeah, brick house.
Yeah. I like that. I like Zach.
Okay.
Like you said, he had, he didn't have a great game, but he has all the intangibles. So if he just keeps improving each game, I like Zach as our QB. It's just something about Fowler, and he's had a whole year. Something, even if you look at his body language sometimes,
Well, he's like I told you, like I said, he's California cool, man. That's just his wake up,
Yeah.
Not everybody has that this bubbly personality. He's kind of laid back, but hey, look, he'll have, and I believe I'll take Coach Washington at his word. He'll have a chance to get on the field this Saturday.
Yeah,
he knows.
He should.
he knows that his opportunities are. I mean, he's about to graduate, so his opportunities are limited, are coming to a close anyway. But he knows that he's not going to get too many more chances to make that good impression. I think he's going to go out there, let it all hang out, and I think he might surprise a lot of people. So watch out for Fowler. Don't count him out just yet.
Okay. Keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive. That's what Aggies do.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
so let me. So you're not going to be going to North Dakota State, I'm assuming. You're not flying out there.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, you ain't doing it. So are you gonna watch the game, or are you just gonna look for the final score?
Most definitely watching it. Yeah.
So you're gonna be in there with the boys the whole way.
Just like usual. Just as if I was sitting in the stadium, I'm gonna be out there cussing.
Yeah.
Drinking. My wife is gonna stick her head out the door and say, "Calm down, Negro."
I love it. Hey, so old school, and by your name, old school. I know you've been around the block a little bit. I know you probably got a few friends or co-workers or colleagues that went to Central. Were they giving you a hard time this week? What was some of the feedback you got from those Central Birds?
Actually, I don't.
You really don't have? Okay, well, you're a blessed man then. You're a blessed man.
Yeah, I guess
you must be living right then. You don't have no budgets bug you.
I'll say this: my mother got from Central, so when she was alive, I understand that we're rivalries, but I never dogged them and talked junk about them,
Gotcha.
like that. But I understand the rivalry, and I just don't know anybody that went to Central, except my mother.
Good for you, man. Okay. Man. All right. Well, like I say, man, I felt kind of like gut punch coming out of Charlotte because first of all, I got stuck in uptown traffic for 2 hours, and I got home at 2:00 in the morning. So it was just a bad deal. I was like, man, that's like last year we went to Furman, and I said I felt like instead of going on a date with Janet Jackson, Freddie Jackson showed up. It was like I just felt like we got bamboozled once again because the off season. This is what A&T's got to do. You got to stop being so secretive, okay? Because listen, when you go into that whole Area 51 secret mode, top secret everything, and then you come out there and the product is just not lights out. People are going to they're going to be frustrated. Yeah. So you gotta stop overselling and under delivering. We need to at least have a little better perspective. But I think now we know what this team is. I feel kind of pleasantly optimistic that we're gonna shock a few people on Saturday. I'm not saying we're gonna beat them, but I think we're not gonna be pushovers. I do think we're gonna represent well.
As long as we improve and play Aggie ball, I'm good.
You good, my man.
I'm good.
Man. All right, old school. Okay,
one question, if I could. I don't know if you guys discussed this or not.
Yeah.
But in his presser, Coach Wash said that McDaniel and Porsche were injured.
Mm-hmm.
And on the podcast, I know we had two guys and come in and said another thing.
Right. Okay.
So can we talk about that, or should I just?
No, man. This is Blue Death Valley, inside the valley. Whatever we call ourselves this for this moment. Check this out. One thing I'm not gonna do to y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? And so if I can't talk about something, I'll say I can't talk about it. But in this situation right now, I did talk to a source inside the athletic department, right? Or should I say a source close to the athletic department, and they verified to me that McDaniel and Porsche do have some eligibility issues, and they will be out for the Central game and 3 more games. So they'll be back for Bryant. And so not to contradict what Coach Washington said. I'm not in the business of all that. I'm just telling you what I've got from my own sources and my own vetting that these guys are relatively healthy. I'm pretty sure they might. Everybody's bruised up playing football. You go to a practice, you're gonna be a little nicked up. But I do think that come Bryant, Porsche, and I can't think of his name. What's the guy's name?
McDaniel
will both be there, and they be full strength. So we don't have to worry about that. It's just one of those deals where, the man in the glass house can't throw stones. So we were out here having a good time talking about FAMU.
Hello.
Lo and behold, I think it came down on Friday. Somebody said it came down on Friday right before the game that no, you got to pull back here. We got to check this, dot these I's, cross these T's. So that's the truth. That's the truth. And and people who I trust have confirmed that.
Yeah, and I remember.
You got to understand, Coach Washington. One thing he's going to do, he'll fall on the sword. He'll fall on the sword, and he'll take the punch in the media to protect his players and his assistant coaches. There's a lot of times where stuff that he don't really have, it's not his fault, but he'll take. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
When Doug be messing up, I be talking about Blue Death Valley. Don't blame Doug. It's all me. So
people know.
Okay,
man.
Yeah,
don't throw him under the bus next time, right?
No, man. But listen. Man, I think we could be all right. I think that's just one of those things. The good news is we do have not as much depth probably as North Dakota State, but we do have a lot of depth. And you saw one thing I got corrected. Doug called me yesterday. We talked about this. That defensive line was flying around, and I was kind of I was not focused. I was just kind of looking at the depth chart. I see a freshman here, but those freshmen played like that. That dude Caleb Jones.
Yes,
he's a guy. He's a dude. All right. I don't care if he was a freshman or a graduate or he was a professor. That kid needs to be on the football field. Craig, you were right. This is the 1,000th time you've been right. But Caleb Jones is a dude, and I saw him because first he had a wide base, and he can anchor down. And Doug, like you were saying, those defensive ends. What you got? A Robertson? What's 91?
Janoris Robinson, Henry Daniels. I mean, those guys. Numerous plays were back there almost when the ball was being handed off, and cause a disruption. And if you cause disruption, some good things that happen for you. And then we had more guys running to the football. So we'll get better in.
So we got depth. We got depth and
talent.
And talent.
And listen, I gave my spiel about where I thought we were more talented than those guys. I think we still have the best player on the field of both teams in KP. Karan Prunty is an NFL talent.
You know what? Okay, I'm glad, Doug.
I'm glad the best player on the field.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I don't think Central really attacked him.
No,
he had to kind of
They caught two balls in his area, and they caught a curl route, something underneath, and he came up and made great physical tackles. So that happens. I mean,
but listen,
Deion Sanders had balls caught on him when he was playing, but
Doug, he this week, in North Dakota State got that tall 6'6" guy, Mathis, with number 0. If he lines up against Prunty, that's going to be the price of admission by itself. I want to see that 101 because they let Prunty rover around. He didn't just stay on one side. So
in situations, we moved him a little bit, and I'll be interested to see what we do with him this week. Because ideally it'd be nice to have him matched up against their guy, but they do some different things. So I think it's where he can be most effective in certain situations, whether it's goal line, whether it's in the middle of the ball field, whether it's long passing downs. But I like the fact that we did some different things with him to make sure he was involved and engaged and made plays. Man, that one play he made when he was in the middle of the ball field and broke on the receiver, made a tackle, got his head to the side, and rolled off the guy. It looked like that's how they teach it on the teaching tape, right?
Yeah.
That looked like your boy Pete Carroll, School of Tackling with the
Hawk Roll,
right?
The Hawk Roll tackle in the Seattle Seahawks. I've seen
that. So I mean that speaks to his level of technique and how much work he's put in and working on his craft. So I mean that stuff rubs off. And you talked about some of the training that Mike Salahuddin and those guys put in. So Mike was a guy. I'm sure they would love to have Mike out of high school. So I look at the talent on our roster and the level of some of those guys, and I ain't just talking about the stars beside their names. I'm talking about how we view their talent. And then, like you said, you got to mix some of that with having that chip and that dog and that want to too. It's not all about talent, right? I think some of what makes North Dakota State good is it hadn't been all about talent. Like I think they're just now reaching out trying to find better talent and skill positions. That's why they're moving to Atlanta and Florida to try to get some of those guys. They realize, hey, we've got the tough guys up front. We've got the football/hockey players. We need a few more guys that can run and have some skill on the outside when we step up. So we'll see. Like I said, I think we match up well with them skill-wise. Now, I think they're fast and have speed on defense too, right? It's not one of those things where it's our speed versus their strength. Like they got some speed too, right? They get to the ball, so it'll be one of those games where you'll see the man's will come through, right? Who has the biggest will at times, right? And so hopefully, it'll be a chance for our guys to show just how much will and pride we have as a team.
All right, old school. We're gonna let you go, but thank you so much. And now you get the mic working. You come back every show now. We got to hear from you.
All right, fellas. Y'all be good.
Yes,
take care.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So Craig, let's go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. We were almost at an hour and a half, and we was at 7 hours on Sunday, and we've been doing some long shows. So look here, we all kind of know what's up. Do we need to do scores, picks, predictions? Y'all want this?
I tell you what.
Oh yeah.
I can tell you how to end this game. I can.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna tell you how the end of this game is gonna go.
All right.
The Aggies will be down late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And that's when the magic's gonna start. Jalen Fowler's gonna trot out there.
Oh.
And he's gonna hit Zach Yeager on the old Philly special. We're gonna call it the Aggie special. He's gonna hit Zach Yeager. Zach's gonna run down the sideline and dive for the pylon, that game-winning touchdown. They're not gonna give us any credit for it. They're gonna call him out on the one.
Oh.
We're gonna try. It's all right because we're only down 2, and we're gonna try my guy, my cousin, my favorite Brown, Money Brown in the game, and he's gonna kick the game-winning field goal, and we're gonna celebrate right there on the bars in midfield, right? And that's how it's gonna happen.
You know what? I can close my eyes and I can see it, man. And you know what? When we beat App State and upset them, they fled and went to the FBS. I can see us. I can see us sending North Dakota State into FBS because they know that they can't deal with no more with us down here. Hey, I love it, man. I can feel it. So let's leave on that note, man. And until then, guys, I want everybody to stay. Oh yeah, by the way, if you like this platform and these shows we're doing, do me a favor. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And the reason I say that is because we're trying to get to like 1,000 subscribers. And once we reach 1,000, YouTube allows us to do some other cool stuff. But we got to reach that benchmark before they kind of like open up some other things for us. So we're I don't know, we got like 350 or something like that. But we were trying to get to 1,000. So spread the word. If you just been kind of like just hovering around watching it, go ahead and subscribe. I mean, all you got to do is hit the button and let your friends know, all your people, Facebook groups, let them know to subscribe because we're trying to get to 1,000 as soon as possible. And then, like I said, every time I tell you guys, we're always thinking. Me, Craig, and Doug, we always talk. We always thinking of the next thing. We did the live show at City Barbecue. We're gonna keep on doing stuff like that. But we always got these tricks up our sleeves. And so now we want to take it another step. We got some other things we want working on, but we need your help. Go ahead and become subscribers. Let people know. The more views we get, the more we can do for you guys, right? I promise you. It all goes back to the show. So until next time, for Doug Brown with a great prediction, I love it. We're gonna live off that. And the president, Craig Turner, and like I say, you guys have still got time to join the AAF. Your local chapter. If you're in Greensboro, you're on that Greensboro chapter. They doing bus trips, and you're doing a bus trip to Duke, right?
No.
Not Durham.
We're not doing one for Durham. We're doing one down to Gardner Webb, though.
To Gardner Webb, okay.
And so that bus is half full now.
Y'all better jump on it because you don't want to drive. Trust me, I did that drive, and I almost had to pull over at the rest station. Yes. It's better to have somebody drive you down there. And they got a whole little package where you get like a ticket and everything too, right? So that's going to be a good deal. All right. So for Craig Turner, I'm Samaj Marsh. This has been not Blue Death After Dark. Okay, understand the branding now. This is Inside the Valley, and we will see you next week. Peace. Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride.